There's a monster inside you, not the kind that destroys, but the kind that people can't look away from. Most people spend their lives begging to be seen, but the truly dangerous ones, they don't ask. They walk into a room and silence follows them like a shadow. This is the psychology of aura. Not fake bravado, not empty noise, but dark psychology. The art of commanding respect without saying a word. Sung Jinwoo didn't start that way. He was weak, forgotten, a joke. No one cared until he stopped speaking, until his silence became more terrifying than anyone else's power. That's the transformation I want for you. The Shadow King's formula for untouchable confidence. Because when you stop chasing respect, you command it. If you have to tell people you're powerful, you're not. Because true power doesn't scream, it whispers. That's the foundation of dark psychology. Strength isn't loud, it's silent. Think about the loudest person in the room, bragging, oversharing, explaining every detail, like a human pop-up ad nobody asked for. And we all know how fast people click, skip, add that desperate noise. It doesn't build respect, it advertises weakness. And when people know your every move, your every thought, read you like a children's book, they stop taking you seriously. Predictability kills respect. Epictetus warned, the more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. When you chase validation, you lose control. When you stop, you start building silent strength. That's where your dangerous aura comes from. A presence rooted in control, not noise. Mystery makes people hesitate. Modern psychology calls this the uncertainty effect. When people can't figure you out, their brain lights up with caution. And in that hesitation, you gain control. That's dark psychology in its purest form. Look at Jinwoo before his awakening. Always apologizing, always explaining, always shrinking himself to fit the room. But after surviving the dual dungeon, he changed. No excuses, no desperate words, just silence and purpose. And when he walked back into the Hunters Association, his silence spoke louder than any brag ever could. That silence, that mystery, became his dangerous aura. Picture this. You're in a meeting. One person talks endlessly, filling the air with fluff. The other stays quiet. When they finally speak, just one sentence, everybody listens. That isn't luck. That's presence. That's dark confidence. Here's the truth. Weakness screams. Strength is silent. And silence is scarier than noise because it forces people to wonder, what are they holding back? So here's your move. Cut your words in half. Let your actions do the rest. Stop giving full access. Share fragments, not your entire life story. When someone asks for more, smile, pause, answer less than they expect. Because silence isn't empty, it's a weapon. And when used right, it forges an aura more dangerous than any scream. Anyone can rage, but the one who stays calm, that's the one you should fear. Anger looks powerful, but it's predictable. Same explosions, same patterns. Predictability makes you easy to control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. In other words, control your reaction. And nothing outside you can control you. Psychology backs this. Studies show people who regulate emotions under stress are seen as more competent, more dominant, more trustworthy. Calm isn't passive. It's power. It's dark psychology at its most intimidating. Unpredictability adds edge. When people can't guess your next move, they hesitate, and hesitation is power. In battle, Jinwoo doesn't waste energy. No yelling, no panic, just eerie calm. And when he finally strikes, it's so fast, so decisive, his enemies never recover. In negotiations, in arguments, the frantic person always loses control. The calm one forces everyone else to adjust. That pause isn't rudeness, it's strategy. Here's the dark truth. Calm energy unsettles people more than anger ever could. Because anger is predictable. But calm makes you unreadable. And unreadable means untouchable. Unpredictability isn't chaos, it's control. When people don't know your next move, they can't prepare against you. And in that uncertainty, you become dangerous. So here's your move. Slow your breathing when tension rises. Hold eye contact 1 second longer than feels comfortable. Change your rhythm. Sometimes speak, sometimes stay silent. Keep people guessing. Never let them hold your full pattern. Because predictable people are forgettable, but the unpredictable, they're untouchable. Chaos inside means weakness outside. But when your mind is still, your presence becomes unshakable. Most people live in mental noise. Endless scrolling, constant overthinking, always reacting, never centered. Is like trying to walk with 20 browser tabs open in your head. And yeah, everyone can feel that energy leaking out. When your thoughts are scattered, your presence gets scattered too. And that leaks into your movements. Most people rush. They speak too fast. They fidget, apologize with their body language before they even open their mouth. It's less kingly presence, more lost intern energy, and the faster you move, the less control you project. Marcus Aurelius said, "Nowhere can a man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." That's the blueprint. True authority comes from inner stillness. Stillness isn't emptiness, it's control. And modern psychology agrees. Harvard researchers found that mindfulness improves decision-making under stress. Translation, calm your mind and people will naturally sense your authority. Body language research proves it too. Those who control pace control perception. Slow movements signal calm authority. Fast, frantic ones, they scream insecurity. Watch Jinwoo in battle after his awakening. He doesn't waste motion. Every step is steady. Every glance calculated. He moves like a king who already knows the outcome. And that stillness radiates authority. Think of leaders who slow their speech, who pause before answering a question, who walk into a room like they own the ground. Meanwhile, the guy tripping over his backpack in the corner, not exactly screaming unshakable authority. Here's the secret. Aura isn't just silence, it's rhythm. The person who controls their inner storm naturally commands the room. When you move like every step matters, people assume you matter. So here's your move. Practice 5 minutes a day with no input, no phone, no noise, just stillness. Slow your breath when stress spikes. Control your pace. Control your presence. Slow your speech and movements by just 10%. Because kings don't chase attention. They draw it in with every breath. Here's the truth. Power isn't about chasing respect. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't need it. Most people beg. They beg for attention, likes, validation. They push, they chase, they explain. It's like trying to hug a cat. The harder you chase it, the faster it runs. And the more desperate you look, the weaker your presence becomes. The Stoics knew this. Seneca said, "He who seeks wisdom is already wise, but he who thinks he has it is a fool." Modern psychology calls it scarcity value. When you don't hand out validation, people assume you're worth more. Chasing signals weakness. Restraint signals value. Scarcity creates magnetism. That's dark psychology. Inverting the frame so others lean toward you. Look at Jinwoo after becoming the Shadow Monarch. He doesn't beg for alliances. He doesn't plead for trust. He simply stands in his silence. And the strongest hunters, even guild leaders, come to him. That's not arrogance. That's magnetic presence. Think about relationships. Who's more attractive? The person blowing up your phone with 20 texts, or the one who's calm, composed, and somehow makes you chase their attention? Exactly. Cats, kings, and Jinwoo. They don't chase, they attract. Here's the dangerous secret. You stop needing validation the moment you realize your presence is the prize. So here's your move. Next time you want validation, pause. Hold the silence. Don't explain, don't chase. Let people fill in the gap. Because whoever chases first loses the frame. Be the magnet, not the chaser. By the time the world forces you to be strong, it's already too late. Most people wait. They wait until crisis hits. They wait until they're fired, until the breakup, until the disaster. And then they scramble, wondering why their confidence hacks don't work. Here's the hard truth. You can't build power in the middle of the storm. You train now for the storm that will come. The Stoics lived by premeditatio malorum, imagining hardship before it came. Not to suffer twice, but to be ready once. Modern psychology calls it stress inoculation. Train under pressure, and your brain rewires to stay calm under fire. The work you do now builds an aura that no storm can shake. Think about Jinwoo in the system's secret training. Day after day, grinding in silence. He didn't wait for another dungeon to test him. He forged himself before the test arrived. And that's why, when the gates opened, he didn't flinch. He was already forged. It's the same in life. You don't prepare for the job interview in the waiting room. You don't build discipline when the crisis hits. You build it in the quiet, invisible hours. So when the world demands strength, you're already standing. Here's the truth. The person you need to be isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in the shadows. And when the storm comes, you'll already be untouchable. So here's your move. Pick one discipline, just one, and build it daily. Don't wait for pain to force transformation. Start today in silence, where no one claps for you. Because the strongest warriors aren't made in the battle. They're made before it. In a world drowning in noise, be the silence that commands it. Be like Jinwoo, calm, controlled, unreadable. Not loud, not desperate, but lethal. Because true power doesn't beg. It doesn't chase. It doesn't explain. It just is. And once you've earned it, the world can't ignore you. Power speaks for itself.